Welcome back, everybody, to another thrilling episode of Program with Coach Stu This is your host, Jeremy Jones, and we are talking about Week 20, May 15th. So we're doing our practice context here. We're going to warm up our hips because we're doing some snatches and some burpees and overhead squats. So make sure people are getting their hips nice and supple, especially for the overhead squats coming down the pipe. We're not doing a skill practice warm up because we've got to get our lifting in, and we're getting toward the heavier side of our focus. So people are going to need a little bit more rest between sets. And then also, this is a 10-minute AMRAP, and we got to make sure that people know how to do the burpees properly, and we want to make sure that the muscle ups are people are set up well for the muscle ups. So this is our 10th session of 14, so it should be getting pretty heavy. And again, as a reminder, if people want to start shifting to doing squat snatches, they can do that. But if they've been fairly successful with their power snatch, make sure that they might want to stick with that through the cycle. And the goal here is that they should be catching in a proper partial squat, so that if they had to, they could squat, versus the wide foot starfish snatch or the split snatch or whatever that people try to do. And we want to make sure that people are really not pressing it out, right? We want to see a good powerful pop off the hip, and they're getting under it in a really good squat position. And that's really the goal of this strength focus, is to try to correct everyone's ugly power snatches when it gets heavy. Then we're doing our single arm shoulder presses, and this should be the same weight across, not adding weight each time. And just make sure that people are increasing weight as each time we go up in weight with the power snatch. They should be going up a dumbbell. Now, especially when we're doing the larger sets like 4 and 5, it might be good to they might have to break some of those sets up, and that's totally fine if they have to break up toward the end of the sets. They might have to do 2 sets. And that's not a huge deal, just because most dumbbells go up in 5-pound increments, and that can be kind of a big jump when you're doing those higher rep ranges. So we've got CrossFit Games Open 11.4. So I remember when this came out, and I thought it was a pretty smart workout. But we're going to do 60 bar facing burpees, and then we're going to do 30 overhead squats, and then 10 muscle ups. And I haven't written a sub in here. I'll make sure that that's written in here for you guys, for everyone else doing health and who can't do muscle ups. So it starts off with these bar-facing burpees. We want to make sure we coach people to not do a really legit push-up unless they're a muscle-up master, because it's going to blow their shoulders up, which actually makes overhead squats harder and the muscle-ups harder. So the less they can kind of use their arms, the better for these. So these are not strict burpees. They should be the kind of, if you call them, kipping burpees, if you will. But it's about getting over those burpees. Now, what you can do is watch the clock, right? So if you're careful, you can be very deliberate with how many of these you do. 20 minutes, pretty aggressive. For most people, unless you're super short, and then but 10 or 15 minutes pretty doable for a lot of people, and then they should be able to get those overhead squats started. Now, it has these weird loads for the overhead squat, and that's because for whatever reason, when they did the first year they opened, I think it was to match the kilograms, so they wouldn't have to have a kilogram thing, so they gave these really weird weights. And it can be hard with larger classes, because then everyone's using these funky plates and lots of coin plates. And that's something I'm always conscious of when I make workouts, is that you guys don't need a bunch of random plates, and we're trying to avoid using the small plates when possible, because not only do you need them, but those are the ones that tend to get left out. So it just takes a longer time to set up and everything. So when I create workouts, I don't do that. But in this case, if you want to do it the original way, you want people to use the 90 and the 120. That being said, you can just have people round up to the nearest thing. So you could have people do, the ladies could do 85 pounds and men could do, what would that be? You could do a 90, 25 and a 15. So what is that? I can't do math in my head. 125. So that's pretty doable. Otherwise, the scale up is just to do 95, 135. So if you want people to try to scale up and do this one, I think these days for people who've been in CrossFit for a while, if they could do muscle ups, they could probably do 95, 135, and it shouldn't be too much of an issue. Just be on people about not getting too squirrely with the overhead squats. They tend to get pretty sloppy. Make sure that they're doing proper form on them and they're keeping a good midline. And I recommend people maybe breaking it up by lowering it on their back for a set. And then if they need to, they can drop it, right? So they don't have to drop it to the floor every single time, and that could save energy and save time. Then we got a little cash out here. No, just be aware from a timestamp standpoint. You want to make sure that you wrap up your warm up and everything at about 15 after. You give people a solid 30 minutes. It's going to put you at 45, You know, if you can finish this up around 25, that'll be even better. But before you're done with all the lifting, you can have people start setting up for this workout, and then make sure everyone's safe on their muscle ups. And we did muscle ups in the skill practice warm up the week before, so people should kind of know where they're at with their muscle ups, or how close they are, or how many in a row they can do, things like that. So that should help speed things along. And then you want to start this workout with 11, 12 minutes to spare, so you got time to clean up and everything. Let's jump over to the weekly overview. So you can see here we're in week 5 of our strength focus, and so we're getting into the shorter workouts and a little bit more lifting. And so it starts off with Monday with the power snatch, and then we're doing some split jerks or push jerks on Tuesday. That's going to be the test for our next strength focus. And then the superset will be I think split squats, and so we're testing our pistols for that. We'll be testing the pistols again at the end as well. And then we've got kind of a longer workout here with some rest mixed in, and then we're doing our snatches again on Thursday. A new workout on Friday and Saturday, and then squats on Sunday. So if you wanted to put these squats in on Saturday, that's fine. If you wanted to kind of shift these 3 days around, that's not a huge deal. But there's one thing I'll say about the Saturday workout, it has a team variation, and then one thing too is that the following Saturday is when I have Murph scheduled. You guys may be doing Murph on Saturday, you may be doing on the following Monday, but we're doing a lot of we did Cindy before a couple weeks ago, and then we've also been doing a lot of Murph prep. So not a ton, but just enough so people feel prepared when it comes to Murph. And then you can look at next week. We've got snatches again on Mondays, and then we're starting our strength focus here for the jerks, and then snatches again on Friday. But that's it for today, guys. Thanks a lot, and thrive on.